Next to me is Jamie Morton and James Cooper. Glad that you're here.
Thanks for having us. This is very exciting.
Two creators of a very famous podcast. My Dad Wrote a Porno.
That's the one.
Yeah, simply a strategy. You just read out your father's sexual
erotica,
feelings.
essentially.
Yeah.
Sexual feelings. Some people say fantasies. I don't like the F word myself, but sure.
How was the moment when you realized, oh my gosh, my dad wrote a porno?
Yeah, it was an interesting day for me because the weirdest thing was that he sent me the book himself. It wasn't like I found it anywhere. Yeah. So that was kind of strange that he wanted me to read it. And then when I read it, I just immediately kind of died inside and thought, what has he been doing? Why is he writing this in the garden shed? And I immediately went to James and Alice, our friend, and just kind of read it to them just to kind of offload some of the pain of it, and then they immediately found it hilarious.
Yeah, we just thought it was so funny. It was so bad, like it was so badly written, and it was so bizarre that Jamie had it in the first place. So after a while, after he'd read it to us, we were like, we should do something with this. Yeah. People need to hear this. Yeah. Maybe more people will find it funny. So then we decided to do the podcast from there.
Share my pain.
Yeah. What is the best scene? Like, what passage do you like the most?
I mean, so many. My dad has got such a way with words. And what's amazing about the books is that they go places that you never thought they could ever go or ever should go in any kind of erotic novel. But there's a scene where Belinda, the main character, is kind of trapped in a maze, and she's handcuffed to a trellis, and people just come and have fun with her in the maze, which is a really odd thing to write about in a sex book.
And some of his turns of phrase are interesting. Like he describes nipples at one point as large as let me get this right, the 3-inch rivets that held the hull of the Titanic together.
The fateful Titanic.
3 inches. That's for a nipple. That's like we're talking about that thing.
He's obviously never seen a naked lady. Yeah.
What is your mom saying about it? How does she feel?
Strangely, she's pretended it hasn't existed from the beginning. No, she's actually quite cool about it, isn't she? She doesn't really listen to the show. She doesn't really want to engage with it in any way, but she's certainly supportive of the podcast, which is nice.
Yeah. And now you're in season 5.
Season 5, yeah.
Okay. What could you recommend for young podcasters who are at the beginning? Because it sounds like it's just an idea you had. It's like, let's do it.
My piece of advice is always kind of edit your show well. I think there's a tendency to kind of just record and upload whatever you record, but I think actually sitting down and editing it and making sure that only the best bits remain in your show is a good tip when you're starting out, because I always think if you're asking a complete stranger to listen to your show, you owe them the best kind of half an hour you can possibly produce. So really think about the listener and what they're expecting from your show, and just try and make it the best you can. I think it's probably the best piece, right?
Yeah, and on from that as well, spend some time getting the show right before you put it out. Think about even things like your branding and things like that, and exactly what you want to say with your show and what the format's going to be.
Tone is important.
We spent a lot of time planning all that before we actually put it out. So really think about
how long was it, the process?
It was about a 6-month development process before we put the show out.
And you also showed it friends, exactly.
Kind of played it to people that we trusted to kind of get their feedback. Played it to my family, obviously, to make sure that they were okay with it, which they were, thank goodness. It kind of took a long time to kind of get it right, but we wanted to make sure that the show was fully formed from day one, and not that we were finding our way in the first season.
Why is it that successful? Sex sells, or what is it?
I wish it did sell, because it's a free podcast. Anyone can download it for nothing. I think because on paper, really, it kind of shouldn't be popular, right? It's about pornography, about an old man. But I think actually there are really universal themes. It's about friendship. It's me and my 2 best friends. It's about me and my dad, embarrassing dads. Everyone's parents are embarrassing. Awkward sex stories. Everyone kind of can relate to that. So I think there's kind of universality in the weirdness of the books themselves.
And I think the narrative, because the book has a plot of sorts. I mean, it's not the best plot in the world, but it's enough to keep you coming back every week, because you want to know what happens every week to these characters.
What's next?
Weird, but people want to know what happens.
Spoiler alert.
And your dad is still writing and writing.
He is continuing to write. He loves it. Well, he's found a huge global audience now, so we kind of can't tell him to stop, because he's like, but everyone wants to hear it.
He's one of the biggest authors in the world.
He really is.
Everybody will talk of him in the future.
They'll force him to do more.
Thank you very much
for
joining
us.
My Dad Wrote a Porno. Just listen to it. Thank you.
Thank you.